We're starting the first part with Jay Simons, who's the VP of Marketing, and then we're going to go into an ecosystem conversation that Scott had mentioned earlier that's going to be led by Andrew Rawlings. And then we're going to finish off with shared best practices from two of our partners, Martin Seibert of Seibert Media and Vinicius Pinheiro of eCore. And we'll talk about that a bit more. But right now, I give you Jay Simons.
Thanks. Woo! Need mic up. I need my hands. I'm a hand talker. Jazz hands. Okay, so I'm going to spend the next 2 hours. It's the best joke I got right there. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to cover 4 things in 20 minutes, and mostly this session is a little loud. Mostly the session is focused on helping you understand what sales and marketing overall is doing inside of the Atlassian Hive, and how you can take advantage, the best advantage of things that we're doing. And even though we're thinking for a lot of the stuff about how to target customers directly, everything that we do is a useful resource for you to link into. So the one takeaway, I think I'm going to go really fast, and there's a lot here, but the takeaway is that for each of these tactics or resources, there's a way for you to link directly into them to get exposure to our customers and generate potentially more business for you. So before that, though, I might echo a couple of things that you've already heard about our market and the way that we think about our market. And it's really important to emphasize because the content that we're creating, the way that the website positions our products are all things that I think are important to you. And it's important for you to understand how we're thinking about that, because everything you'll see on the web that messages who we're trying to influence as a buyer is basically right here. And some of this you've heard before. It starts really just with the notion that software, the market for software development is growing really rapidly. Software is everywhere. You've heard us say this maybe a couple of times about how we're very much focused on the collaboration, the very, very hard communication and collaboration challenge that exists in software development. So we are targeting technical teams. And oftentimes people think when you hear software development that we're mostly talking about software companies. And the real opportunity for us, for all of us, is that software is being developed at old brick and mortar companies, at companies that aren't building products, but they have internal technical teams that are building potentially software that's used internally or software for some other products that they ship. So the kind of guiding principle of what we're targeting is, again, the collaboration and communication that happens with teams of people that are working together on software projects or software products. And you've heard us talk about this concept to launch cycle, and it's a very tricky, meticulous, collaborative effort that involves not just software developers, but all of the technical people or other non-technical people that surround that process. So even we're a software company that builds and ships software. Marketing and sales are very much a part of, the conceptual phase of concept to launch, and certainly the launch phase. And there are more technical people that use other products within our portfolio around planning, tracking, coding, building, shipping. But again, the pure collection of everyone that's involved in designing and shipping a software project or product is principally what we're focused on. And so that's sort of the market largely that we're targeting. How we target it is mostly focused on landing inside of that technical team with Jira. If you actually go back one slide, Jira is really at the center of this entire process. And both Jira and Confluence play a pivotal role, I think, in many aspects of this process. But Jira is the product that we, for the most part, try to lead directly in. And the reason that we do that is because, on average, when a customer spends $1 on Jira, they'll spend 60 cents on Confluence, 40 cents on Greenhopper, and collectively 30 cents on 3 of the dev tools that are part of that dev tools suite. So, another way to translate this is for every 100 customers that buy Jira, 60 buy Confluence, 40 buy Greenhopper, and 30 buy the dev tools. So on average, the expand products, how we expand out from landing with Jira is, worth to our business another $1.30 in just license sales, not annual maintenance and renewals, which is another part of, the lifetime value that we consider for a customer. And that's one of the reasons why we're very, very focused on landing. And then secondarily, once we land with Jira, we're focused on expanding. And we think very carefully about this. We think about trying to remove a lot of some of the complexity in that concept to launch cycle. Like we could start out very early and try to convince the customer that they need all 10 products at the same time. We want to hint at that, but we also don't want to slow them down with having to evaluate 7, 8, 9, even 4 things. Principally, when people come to our website, we're trying to convince them that Jira, with some other things that surround it that we hint at, but Jira, for the most part, is where they should really, really focus. And once we get Jira installed and they start to use Jira, then we actively cross-sell additional products. And that's how we sort of expand from a Jira sale. So just some context setting. And then I thought I'd share some numbers so you understand how we think about our funnel. You know that we don't have a traditional sales force. We have a group of technical pre-sales people that are very focused on helping answer customers' questions. Now, we don't proactively ask the customer if they have questions. We try to answer all the questions up front as best we can, which is why we publish pricing, which is why we have very detailed FAQs, which is why we try to be as forthright with information simply as we can be. But that group reactively will respond to a customer's question and then hopefully push them back out into the funnel where they can self-serve. Oftentimes, that group, if there's things that we don't do, or if there's questions we're not in a position to answer because we don't have a sales force, we flag them for you. And you're a very important part of this funnel that isn't necessarily represented in these numbers about being a sales extension to our business because we don't have a traditional sales extension. But just some numbers so you can get a sense of how our funnel works and kind of the scope of it. In the month of May, we had 400,000 unique visitors hit www.atlassian.com. It's just in a single month. And of those 400,000, 30,000 of them downloaded our product. And we don't require any personal information to download. So you'll go to the download page and you'll just click download. And by the way, this doesn't include hosted trials, which is sort of a different representation of the funnel, but just for the installable software for a minute. And also this doesn't include starter licenses. So this is a 30,000 non-starter license downloads from 400,000 people. Of those 30,000 downloads, 6,000 people actually go through the installation process, request a 30-day evaluation key, which for us is an intent to buy. Right? That's the first real meaningful signal that we have an evaluator. Now, there's 6,000 of them, right, in a given month, not including starter license holders, not including people that sign up for hosted trial. Again, we don't proactively go ask those people, can we help you with your evaluation? We assume and we're working very carefully on making it foolproof, but we assume that if they need help, they're going to come to us. Now, we do have a set of automated email campaigns that trigger once the software is installed. And so we guide people to a bunch of resources. We let them know that they're human beings on the other end of a phone or email if they really need help. And we try to encourage them to raise their hand if they do. From 6,000 active evaluations, we basically sell software to 1,600 of them, which is a relatively high conversion rate. So you can sort of see the conversion rate from unique visitor to download to evaluation to number of new units, excluding hosted and excluding starter licenses in the month of May, just for some perspective. Okay, so that's our market, a little bit about our funnel. And then I wanted to talk at a high level about some imperatives for us that guide the way that we think about programs and think about marketing activities. The first one is about landing, and I think I explained early on why landing is so important and why we're very focused principally on selling the customer Jira. these are just examples of how this imperative translates into tactics that the team implements. Confluence is another product that we're focused on landing. It's also a product that we're focused on expanding into a Jira customer. And it is a product that we're focused on messaging very carefully about its role in concept to launch, right? So Confluence, oh, sorry, this is the wrong one. I'm going to get to Confluence in a second. The screen that you're looking at now is actually a program that we created in large part for you. It's the ability to bulk order starter licenses. Has this been explained? Nope? All right. So you can bulk order starter licenses and then give them away to your customers with a coupon code that they can redeem. So if you're interested... the way I would use this if I were you is if you're interested in using starter licenses as a lead generation campaign, like maybe you want to send Christmas cards, and in every Christmas card to prospects, you say, guess what? Merry Christmas, I bought you a starter license. And again, it's $10, but you can give them a little coupon, and then they go to this page, which is Atlassian.com/redeem, and they put in their little coupon, and they hit continue. And we have a mechanism where the partner team can load these in. We also have a mechanism where we can report back to you whether or not the coupons were claimed or redeemed. So this is one tactic that we're in the process of rolling out to you that will help us and help you land customers. This is available for every product, not just Jira and Confluence. This is the one that I thought I was looking at. But we think very carefully about how to position Confluence, and so Confluence went through a bit of a re-messaging where you can see in the feature tour that the features are very, for the most part, very focused on emphasizing Confluence's role in that concept to launch cycle. And so in this case, we're highlighting development teams, technical writers, business teams are a part of working with other teams in the software development process. Jira, SharePoint, and plugins. This is just another example. I don't know if many of you know that we get requests for RFPs. We don't have the resources to respond to all of them. Oftentimes, we'll flag, if the customer wants an RFP, flag them for a partner. But we also try to automate as much of our business as possible. So here's an example of that where we've created a self-service RFP answer template. And we tell the customer if you need this RFP completed, you can complete it with answers here, rather than having us copy and paste them into your spreadsheet. And then you've probably seen a couple of marketing campaigns that are focused on landing. The Jira Wallboard campaign that we ran 6 months ago was a good example of that, as was the Wiki campaign, where we gave away a series of 5 prizes over 5 days, mostly to existing customers that were promoting features that they like the best out of Confluence. So that's a couple of examples of marketing tactics around that first imperative. Another imperative is to meet what we think of as the second user. And actually, you guys are a part of this because I think you probably meet far more second users than we do. And a second user is actually just the user. The person that we've got the deepest relationship tends to be the buyer and the technical evaluator. Those are the email addresses that we have for a customer. We don't often interact with the 999 other people in a 1,000 user Confluence license or a 1,000 user Jira license. And we want to. Those are important people for us to engage with. We know that they're there. We see them tweet. We see blog posts. But oftentimes, they're not part of they're not subscribed to our newsletter or following us on Twitter or connected with us in any meaningful way other than they use our products. In some cases, they don't even know that who Atlassian is. They just know that there's a product that they like or sometimes don't like that they're using at work every day, and they talk about it. And we want to meet them. So we're working on a bunch of ways to figure out how to do that. One is OGS, and I'll talk about the Atlassian User Group program a little bit later. But user groups are an important way for us to try to bring more second users into the fold. one of the challenges that we have is the people that we market to are the people we know. When we send emails out to people, they're from a big database that we're constantly curating and grooming. And we're trying to grow that responsibly with other people in the organization who are interested in what we do. We did a road trip that was 22 cities across Australia, Europe, and North America. And part of that was to go out and meet other second users. And again, we start with the people we know, the people that are fans of who we are. And then we try to get them to invite other people into a forum where we can get to meet them and get to know them. And then one that we're launching here, actually, in 2 days, on the second day of Summit, is a new product called Atlassian University. And Atlassian University, if you haven't seen it, is basically a service on the web that teaches end users how to use our products. So it's built on top of Confluence, Greenhopper, and Jira hosted. And we're basically going to sell this product as an interactive training tool. So when you buy Jira, you'll buy a license to log into this for all the users that you need to train or teach. And then they log in, and it'll track what lessons they've completed, what they haven't completed. It will rank them relative to other people. It sort of has a social aspect to help them see what their colleagues are doing inside of the system. This had a pretty extensive beta period with 350 customers and close to 1,000 individual users that were in it. And again, this is a way for us to connect to all those second users with a hosted web service. And part of what we'll do is try to engage them, try to say, hey, you've learned how to use the product. Would you like to learn about product updates or new features? Would you like to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Twitter and do all those things so we can kind of encourage more of a conversation? Third is about going global and local, which again, this is a sales and marketing imperative. And you saw us do a big launch it was in October of last year, where we launched 32 local pages, many of them translated. And the local pages represent local partners, user groups or events in the area, local customers worth highlighting. It's something that we're going to expand out. And for those of you that are from one of these countries, this is a page that we want your help making even more valuable for you. The other thing that we did was translated the website into French and German at a very, very superficial level. And we're going deeper across a couple of more languages: Japanese, French, German, Italian, Spanish, with a deeper set of translations. We also launched a program in Europe to hire ambassadors. And we have 3 of them here, right in the back. 3 of them here: David, Sven, and John. And they are sweet. And they are the ambassadors. You'll meet them around the show. They are the ambassadors for the UK, John, Spain, David, and Sven, Germany. And the idea of an ambassador is that we recognize that we do a bunch of stuff in English which Germans might not find as valuable. And we might not understand exactly what Germans would find valuable. And so we want ambassadors in country to help sort of channel the things that we do at the Hive and make sure that we're doing things that are more usable. Or it's not just translation, it's about thinking about the things that we need to do for those customers. And vice versa, pulling back from those markets what they're doing to help us. So each of these guys are developers, former developers, very technical, and they're part product evangelist, part community builder, part working with partners and customers in the region to basically help us grow at a local level. And then finally, we launched Translations, which you know about, which is basically a crowdsourced translation service. And we're going to talk more about how that's grown, but we've grown it considerably since we launched it and even mentioned it at last Summit. Last imperative is just growing word of mouth. And And it's a simple one. We always want to connect with people, and we know that part of the way that we spread is by one person liking what we do, who we are, or how our products are used, and telling other people. And so part of our goal as a sales and marketing organization is to just connect and encourage that kind of word of mouth. You'll also see us do, in fact, you might be sick of Angry Birds, by the way, by the end of the show. That's my one warning. What? Yeah, Angry Nerds, sorry. You might be sick of Angry Birds, too. Yeah, so we did a fun April Fool's joke, and we try to do fun, kind of creative, spontaneous things to just be different and unique and create a reason for people to say, look what they're doing. Okay, so how we help you. Here's just a rundown of a couple things. I'm going to go through them fast. Blogs. So we have 7 blogs that are basically distributed over our products, and then a developer blog, and then a general news blog. And collectively across all those blogs, there are about 9,600 subscribers. So how you use them is submit a guest post, right? You have an opportunity to basically say, I want to write to the blog, I want to get in front of those 9,600 users. And the blogs are automatically added to the newsletter, which I'll talk about the reach of the newsletter in a minute. They're retweeted. And collectively across Twitter channels, we probably have another 6,000. There's some duplicates there of people that are subscribing and following. But it's a great opportunity, I think, for you to get a message out to a big bucket of people. I can't promise that we're going to just include any guest post. We'll be selective about it. But email Atlassian Product Marketing. It's pmm@atlassian.com. And just say, I want a guest post. And ask us, what should I write about to get included, right? Just so you don't waste time sending us something that we don't like or don't want to include. This was a great example of Martin, who you're going to hear from in a second, and he's guest posted a couple of times. Atlassian user groups. So we have 63 active groups around the world. That's a map of where they all are. They're growing. We hired actually an existing employee, but we put her focusing exclusively on growing the user group program. You know that we published a bit of a policy about partners basically running user groups. And this was after a conversation with a lot of partners, not everyone in the room, but a lot of partners and a lot of customers, about what it meant to have a user group program. And just to explain it really quickly, the reason for that policy, even though we're not really a policy kind of company, is that we want user groups to be run by users. We want partners to be actively involved in them. You can sponsor them in the same way we do. You can say, I'd love to come speak. I would love to give you $500 for snacks. I would love to host it at my office. We just don't want you we don't want them organized. We want them organized by customers. So they are a customer vehicle for customers, but we can all participate in them. So how you can do it. So you can sponsor in the same way we do. We give money to user group leaders once we find them. You can send your customers and prospects to them. I think once it becomes a great intimate customer gathering, I think it's good for all of our customers to be a part of that. Send your team. You can all go to them. And again, you can submit speaking abstracts to OG leaders. Brit@Atlassian.com is the person that you should talk to if you want an intro to an OG leader that you don't know. But most of the OG leaders you can find on the OG page. Newsletter has 22,000 subscribers. We add hundreds of new subscribers every week. This is just an example of the newsletter. We're happy to include other things, like we'll advertise your events. If you have ideas for maybe a little partner update section that we could add to the newsletter, that we could add things to, we'd be delighted to consider that. Again, the guest blog, if you guest blog, it automatically gets dumped in. So there's a broader reach of people that pay attention to the signal and email. Newsletter owner at Atlassian.com. There's a lot of email addresses to remember here. Webinars, we run 2 monthly webinars. One for plugin of the month, and sometimes we've been actually doing that at a frequency of every 2 weeks. But we basically highlight a new plugin. And then we do a webinar called Voice of the Customer that we do monthly. And the Voice of the Customer is just an interview with a customer about how they use one or more of our products. This is an example of Jeff Schnitter of Workday. So we do one each of those a month, and they get thousands of views. And they get promoted in the newsletter, on the blog. Everything is kind of integrated here, back on Atlassian TV. So get engaged with that. Co-present with one of your customers. We're always looking for them. You can be on there with them. They can be a customer that mentions you or is represented by you. Hopefully they're telling, and we want them to tell their story, not have you tell their story. But you can co-present with them. If you're a plugin developer, you have a plugin, you should get on the plugin of the month because people pay attention to that. It's just a channel for new, exciting plugins. They all go on Atlassian TV and they get cross-promoted everywhere. Webinars at Atlassian.com is the email address there. Events. So we are trying not to become a year-round event company, but we are, this is a big event for us. Atlas Camp is a big event in October. We are going to take these in some way global, both Atlas Camp and Summit. So Summit gets 550 attendees. Atlas Camp gets over 100. They're both growing. You do know that we intentionally kept it at this hotel because the only alternative was to go to Moscone, and we wanted to eke out, I think, one more year of an intimate gathering, even though there's a lot of people on the waiting list. So expect that Summit will get bigger, but we'll try to also make it global, and so we get bigger that way without requiring people to travel. How you engage, you can ask us. The other thing is we're happy to co-sponsor, co-fund events that you want to do. So even though we don't want you to organize OGs, we do want you to organize your own events. And we're happy to help you organize them or to sort of work with you to market them in different ways. So ask us to do that. Say, hey, I've got this great idea for an event. Will you help me? We'll also send you swag, banners and goodies and things to hand out if that would help. And then also you can sponsor Summit. And for those of you that sponsor, thank you very much. We couldn't do it without you, but it's a great opportunity to get in front of customers. Events at Atlassian.com. I'm almost done. Answers. We're launching. I think, are you going to talk about Answers? Okay. You are?
Yeah.
Okay, then I won't talk about it. It's coming, and it's going to be great. And so Andrew's going to tell you how you can participate. Plugin marketing in PAC, I think you know, we feature your plugin. It gets linked in everywhere, developer relations at Atlassian. And then, we're happy. I know most of you might not have big marketing teams. We've got a relatively big marketing team. And it is an awesome marketing team with people that know a lot about online marketing and search engine marketing and search engine optimization. And we are happy to help you. If you want to know how to do certain things better, you can always take to the internet, or you can say, hey, do you guys have any suggestions for how to link this in better with what you're doing? And we'd love to work with you on that. So, ask us. Magda at Atlassian.com runs our whole online marketing group. She'll also give you advice or guidance on, AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn, general advertising. Collateral, we know that a lot of you ask us for very specific collateral, and we are working on producing that for you. So coming soonish, we'll have more polished PowerPoint and keynote presentations and brochures that you can basically, for those of you that go physically to customers, you can take them with you, and we'll work on incorporating the things that you need. I can't promise that it will be individually tailored for everybody here, but it'll hopefully be great general purpose and flexible enough for you to change. And then finally, just co-marketing. We can do other things. Matt Doerr asked us if we'd write a forward for a book about Jira that he just got published. Congratulations, Matt. We're happy. We're happy to do that, and we're happy to tell the world about it, right? So all the channels that I just mentioned, Matt, we're going to figure out a way to get that book exposed everywhere. It's a great opportunity to co-market. We'll buy drinks at events together. We'll just do crazy things. And we might not be the source of thinking of all of them, so if you've got crazy ideas, let's participate. Finally, how you can help us. There's 5 ways that you can help us. One is just tell us what you're seeing out in the market. You know that we don't go out into the field as often as you do. So sometimes our competitive intelligence is gathered from a distance. You're right on the ground. Flag product marketing or product management, and let us know what you're seeing. Also, you can post it in the partner portal. And again, more and more of us are trying to tune into that as a channel to learn and work with you, learn from and work with you. Help the community on answers, which Andrew's going to get to. Bring customers to your events. And some at Atlas Camp, or do your own events, do it yourself, and bring customers there and tell us how we can help recruit or promote the things that you're doing. Atlas Camp is important. Be a camper, especially within the plugin community. And then finally, just spread the word. So if you see us tweet something, you don't want to give your customers tweet fatigue, but retweet it, send it forward, reblog it, stand up and shout it from the rooftops. Our goal is to send messages out to as many people as we can. And I think that's it. Two minutes for questions? Any questions while Andrew gets set up?
I'm going to ask you if you want. We'll share the slides, but let me introduce that question. Actually, Todd, I told you yours is the best presentation, and I like yours second best. Actually, there were so many things that you said that me, from a partner perspective, I was waiting for Atlassian to offer this. And are you really going to live up with what you had on the slide?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't believe me?
Because I have been asking for things that you put on the slides for a month, and they were like, no, we're not doing that.
Like what things? Well, we can take it offline. What?
Yeah, I think that's...
all those... all
Are you
those...
going to share the slides?
Yeah, of course. All those things are already there, right? Those are channels that exist. So there's not a lot that I didn't promise to do anything that we're not already doing. Maybe I'm just saying, the thing that you should do is try to get engaged. Now, again, I can't promise that you come to us and you say, hey, I want you to send this out to, or include this in your newsletter, and maybe that we're like, maybe not. Maybe that doesn't work.
I like this a lot. I don't want to have bad vibrations in here, but you posted a guest post for me. There are 15 guest posts in a similar quality sitting on your team and not getting published. So actually, there are a couple of things that we could work on. I'm not trying to blame.
Sure.
If you share the slides, know
Good.
that I'm going to bug you.
I'll share them. Okay, got it. Yep.
Cool.
Are you going to be doing any improvements to the sales interface that you have on the Atlassian website, or any changes to it?
We are. So the entire website's been rewritten and is waiting for a couple of things to happen before it goes live. And it will go live after the summer.
Can you share any of the features that will be changed?
It is, well...
More links to the partners.
Yeah, the partners are highlighted better. The content has been radically, the content and the structure of the site has been radically rethought and simplified. And then, we've just thought very, very carefully and done a bunch of testing about, where people go within the site, like how often they click, to pricing as an example, and can we bring pricing forward to avoid them to sort of clicking on that. Once they get into the shopping cart, can we make that whole process easier? So there's a bunch of functional rethinking. But a lot of the messaging's changed, the brand has changed. There's a bunch of stuff that'll change.
Okay, and also, since the multiple product discounts ended, are you guys have any other promotions that might be coming up? Or?
No plans. You'll see a small promotion for some new products that we're launching tomorrow, in terms of just a pricing discount. But no, we try again. The philosophy is we're trying to build the discount into the price that we publish.
Okay.
Maybe two more.
Yeah. With the user groups, so
I'll take all my. He's already taken half my.
But I already did your answer slides.
Done half my slides already. Your next questions will take the rest.
so user groups, so the London user group has gone the way of the PIX user groups in Germany. They're becoming more of a conference, which isn't really a user group. So regardless of the title, and with the user group now being going for users, is that still the sort of event itself, as you've seen happen this year, something you want to survive and support?
Yes. and augment. And I would say, we're thinking very carefully about, in both of your locations, like you'll have ambassadors that you can work with that can help make those events better and that we can engage more, where we just didn't have anybody in the UK or in Germany to do that with. The other thing that we're thinking carefully about that we need to work with you guys around is how do we bring Summit, as an example, to Europe in a way that's meaningful for Europeans. And I personally think that's not just one big event, because I don't think Germans want to go to the UK and listen to everything in English, as an example. I think that we need to figure out how to create an event that has more of a local flair. So yes to your question, and then we want to think about how to go above and beyond that to help grow the market in both of those places and others. Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys.